Doing Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now let's move up to the heavyweights, y'all. You know that's where it's happening. We have a former heavyweight champ, right? And a very interesting. This is Chris Byrd. Anybody remember Chris Byrd? A small heavyweight, started at middleweight, was 169 pounds fighting, moving up in weight, made it to heavyweight, fought some of the real huge heavyweights, right? Just stopped fighting in 2009. Let's say his last 5 or 6 years, he could have stopped a lot earlier than that because he was very smart, man, about 6'1", and didn't have punching power. A lot of it, but very evasive, very smart, a defensive fighter, counter puncher. His upper body movement, you know, is Pernell Whitaker esque, right? You know, really, if it wasn't, he would have a problem fighting those big guys, and he did. Everybody was bigger than this guy, you know. So he's a very defensive-minded fighter, very crafty guy. You know, was in there with both of the Klitschko's. He was the guy where Vitaly was beating him until the end of the fight, and then stopped at the end of the fight because his shoulder was hurt. I thought Vitaly could have came out in that fight. He lost to Vladimir, I think, unanimous decision, and then was KO'd. Lost to Iabuchi. That's somebody y'all better remember. This boy here bad. But he's got wins over some very good guys. Everybody don't beat David Tua, for example. Everybody. You know what I mean? So Chris Byrd is, you know, someone to be reckoned with. He knows the game. Well, he has brought in his opinion of who's the most dangerous heavyweight right now. And his opinion, it's Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz. Well, you know, they're fellow southpaws. Who knows? That's probably the only thing they got in common, guys. Um, he says the man is just too skilled. He's very dangerous and he's big enough. And he's a southpaw with a Cuban background. He thinks he's the most dangerous heavyweight, and that's bar none. We know we have the Joseph Parkers, Anthony Joshua's, and Deontay Wilder's out there, the Dillian Whites of the world. He considers Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz the most dangerous guy, right? That would explain the lack of phone calls I've been telling you Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz was going to receive after that Deontay Wilder fight. Remember I told you people going to forget his phone number? He going to be saying, boss, what's anybody call? And nobody's going to call. He about to fire his boss because he can't get no fights, right? You think about it, guys. You know, we hear a lot of call outs. We hear a lot of this and we hear a lot, even from big mouth people, right? Do you ever hear Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz in a call out? Right? It's the same thing as Guillermo Rigondeaux, his compatriot. Right? You don't hear his name in the call outs. You know, you just don't. Right? And it's a reason for that. Everyone knows he's dangerous. Everyone knows that mainstream media won't mention him much. So that would mean the casual fan doesn't get a whiff of him. So we don't have to mention him. And he'll go away soon because he's supposed to be 38 on paper and everybody thinks he's about 45. So he should be gone soon. Similar to what they do in Amir Mansour too. You know, older guys that if you beat them then if they so old. Well, everybody call them old, but don't ever want to fight them. And they go on through this, you know. So it's good for someone like Chris Byrd. He's been interviewed lately. He's been present lately to say this, you know, openly. Now they ask him, of course, if you're talking heavyweight, you're going to ask him, well, who would you rather fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder? And he says, guys, that's easy. I would easily fight Anthony Joshua before Deontay Wilder. Right? Well, why would he say that? Now that's probably when you was about to thumbs up this one, you're gonna thumbs down it now, right? Because I'm the messenger. Chris Byrd would easily fight Anthony Joshua before Deontay Wilder. Guys, because Deontay Wilder is unorthodox, fast, and has one punch knockout power. That's probably why, right? And he's fast enough to probably catch you eventually, right? I'm thinking Chris Byrd thinks that Joshua's probably a little heavy, and guys, watch Chris Byrd first before making your opinion. You're probably young and don't know nothing and start writing before knowing who you're talking about. Chris Byrd is evasive, and the big thudding guys are going to have problems hitting him for a while, even guys that were faster than Joshua. But I would think Joshua would catch him towards the end if you would ask me. But I know Chris Byrd would make it hard for him, for sure. Chris Byrd has been in with the likes of people similar to Joshua, so he would know. But Deontay Wilder, he wouldn't want to get in anytime soon. That explains some things too. The dangerous people, you don't hear them much in call outs. right? You didn't hear Deontay Wilder's name and called out either until he got the championship. Then, before that, nobody was trying to fight no dangerous dude to knock people out cold. Just don't want to. You don't call them out until they are a champion. That's what happened here. That's what's happened to Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz, and it didn't help none that he had Deontay Wilder in serious trouble in round 7 in that fight. And another thing, people saw what I saw. When Deontay Wilder has you hurt, he knows it, he senses it, and he comes and he rushes in to get you out of there. And I told you after that fight, every single time, whether Ortiz was hurt or not, and Deontay Wilder came in there with that running up on him stuff, he was getting fired back at with bad intentions. And people saw that, right? That's what it is. Let's see who's going to give Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz a call. We see the Dillian White scenario. Dillian White could fight him, right? Uh, for the second mandatory position, which means he would land behind the Dominic Brazil. But Dillian White also has the promise that from Deontay Wilder is if you beat Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz, you got a direct path to me. That's Deontay Wilder's promise, and I don't think he would renege on that, right? And by the way, Dillian White's going to get about 300,000 for fighting Kubrat Pulev in Bulgaria. So let's see what he's going to do. Now, you could just see Ortiz as an opportunity for Dillian White, but there's some reservation there, right? There's some reservation there. Everyone knows you beat him regardless of where you're ranked. You beat Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz right now, you're a bad boy. Everyone in boxing knows it, right? The WBA scenario, Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz was the mandatory for Anthony Joshua, right? Was going to fight Wilder, which people don't give Wilder for credit for. By the way, he didn't have to fight Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz. Wilder's WBC champion. He went over there. He needed somebody on his resume. Anyway, Ortiz was doped. WBC drops him from the rankings and then reinstates him. WBA, which had nothing to do with you dropping dopers from rankings. You filled with dopers in the WBA, but okay, they dropped him from the rankings and did not reinstate him. Right? Actually, Anthony Joshua was supposed to be saying, hey, matter of fact, Wilder, hold up. I want to get Ortiz. No one's doing that. Right? So it's videos like this just to make sure that you understand why. Because people like Chris Byrd, who is a very good fighter, thinks he's the most dangerous heavyweight. And I kind of agree. Doma Sports Talk worldwide. And I'm proud of you, y'all.